It is in the quiet, the alone time, that I find rest between breaths, and at times hear the Holy Spirit. It is in the songs with no lyrics, pages lacking words, canvas with no paint, time with no routine, when I feel peace. It is the wind rustling in leaves. It is not the burn of the uphill, nor the joy of the descent, but that moment in between, where a child, a sacred being, may be seen as unconsciously competent, preaching to chickens or bargaining with wolves, visions in an abbey, visions in one's youth, ora et labora, balance between petitions to the divine and lengthy labor. Good morning, friends. Good to see you again this week. I believe most of you are back to school. If not, you will be this week. So I thought we'd continue with one of our school lessons, okay? A few weeks ago, you had a vocabulary lesson where you learned 2 new words, mystics and monastics. Today I thought we'd do a history lesson and a math lesson. How's that sound? We first learned about Saint Benedict of Nursia, and we learned that it was the year 500 when he decided to dedicate his life to a life of solitude and loneliness to grow closer to God. So today, it's the year 2020. 2020 minus 500 equals... Next, we learned about Hildegard of Bingen. She was born in the year 1098 in Germany, and she died in the year 1179. So how old was she when she died? The following week, we learned about St. Francis of Assisi. He was born in the year 1181 or 1182, and he began to attract followers with the blessings of Pope Innocent III in the year 1209. So how old was he when he began to attract those followers? Last week, we learned about Julian of Norwich, and she lived in an abbey with only 3 windows. You know what I also learned? She also lived during a pandemic, just like you. The pandemic she lived through was called the bubonic plague, and it lasted for 2 years, between the years 1348 and 1350. So if the plague ended in 1350, and it's 2020, how many years ago did that plague end? Today, you'll learn about a more modern mystic, a man named Dr. Howard Thurman. He was born in the year 1899 and died in the year 1981, when I was in elementary school, like many of you. However, you know what I really thought was cool? My dad, who just celebrated his 80th birthday last week, actually had dinner one night with Dr. Howard Thurman. Isn't that crazy? Instead of doing a math problem on Dr. Thurman's life, I thought I'd tell you a story about Dr. Howard Thurman and his role in our American history. Howard Thurman, a modern mystic, mentor, spiritual guide to civil rights icons, a teacher of nonviolence, despite the hatred, the dogs, the batons, a student of Gandhi, a teacher to King, a practitioner of contemplative prayer, who encourages us to stay put for a spell, or sit still, talk to trees, or listen for God in the breeze. Question your faith if it goes against Jesus' teachings of peace. Keep strong your spirit. Do not let it be broken. Bones break, but your spirit keeps strong, keep straight. John Lewis called this man a saint to the movement, a saint. Howard Thurman's meditations, orations, unifications, and another time of a fractured nation. He has renewed my spirit, my faith, and my hope deeply with these 2 quotes. During times of war, hatred becomes quite respectable, even though it has to masquerade often under the guise of patriotism. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask yourself, what makes you come alive? And then go and do that. Because what the world needs is people who will come alive.